Good morning, guys, and welcome to this lecture on arrays and lists. I know that on our curriculum, arrays and lists are two independent topics, but I've decided to treat them as one here because really they kind of represent the same concepts, the same ideas. We use them for about the same thing. They just subtle differences between them, and I'm going to point them out as we go on. So, what really is an array? So far, we've been dealing with variables, right? And these variables allow us to hold one value most of the time. So we declare a variable for first number, and then we put one number in it, and then we declare another variable for second number, and we put a second number on it, and then we add both of them, and then we put the result of that addition in a third variable we usually call results, right? And then we save it. It's all good and fine, all of that works. But if you notice, we're putting one value in one variable. Now, what things like lists and arrays allow us to do is that they allow us to hold a collection of items, right? So a collection of items might be, okay, I want to calculate, maybe I have a bank, or maybe I work in a bank and I need to know, okay, what is the account balance of everyone in this bank? Now, if I say I have 1 million people in the bank, it doesn't make sense, 1 million account, it doesn't make sense for me to declare 1 million variables and then do variable 1 plus variable 2 plus variable 3 to variable 1 million. That just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to have to type all those variables in or to enter all those things. And this is where you start to see the power of things like arrays and lists. An array can hold a collection or a list of a particular type. So for example, I can create an array or a list if you like, or even a collection. These are different names you can use for it. And then I can use it to hold any number of integers that I want. And then I can just say, hey, give me the sum of all of the integers you are holding. Array, I can say, hey array, what is the sum of all of the integers I have put in you? And it makes it really easy to work with. If you've noticed, I have this image of an egg here. So there's a pack of eggs here, or as we call it in Nigeria, a crate of egg, right? And imagine if I needed to transport, say, 1 million eggs, right? And all I have to transport those eggs, which was a truck, and I don't have these packs. Imagine having to put one egg in the truck, and then a different egg, and then another egg, and another egg, and I don't put them into these packs, if you may. And then I get to my destination. Imagine trying to offload those eggs. It's going to be a headache, right? So it makes sense for us when we're doing certain things to group them, put them into groups, and refer to those groups as one. So I have 6 eggs in a pack too, but when I refer to that pack for simplicity, I'm going to say I have a pack of eggs. Think of that pack of eggs as an array and the eggs inside of it as items in that array. And then I work with the whole pack of eggs as one. I can say, hey, go get me a pack of eggs. And then someone brings me a pack of eggs. That person just got me an array of eggs. And then I can take one from the array and fry the egg or boil it, or I can take 2, or I can take 3, and then our array can be empty, meaning there is no egg in the pack, or our array can be full, meaning all the spaces in the crate is taken. And really, that really is what an array is. But then how does this relate to programming? I think the best way to show it in code is actually to jump into the code. There are other examples here. There's a pack of pencils here, and we can have one pencil, or we can have a pack of pencils, right? Or an array of pencils. So in programming, when we batch things together, so that we'll be able to work with them as a group, because probably they're related or they come from the same place, it's just easier to move them around. We call this group of items an array. At least that is what we call them at this point. There might be other arguments for what they can be called at different points, but the takeaway from here is that arrays are basically a collection of items you move and you manipulate together, and you can refer to with a common name. Like a pack of eggs. A pack of eggs would refer to a pack containing any number of eggs. Now, those eggs can have their own individual names. It might be blue egg, green egg, or whatever. But as long as they're in that pack, as long as they're in that array, they simply belong to a pack of eggs. Let's jump into the code and see what we're talking about in code. Okay. So I'm going to create a new project, and as usual, I'm going to fire up my terminal. And then I'll say .NET new project. I'll comment this project arrays and lists. Made a mistake here, -n space. So .NET new project arrays and lists. I'll hit enter and just wait for the project to be created. Oh, sorry, made a mistake here. I meant .NET new console. So if you make that mistake with me, if you caught the mistake, congratulations. If you made that mistake with me, just correct it. .NET new console, arrays and lists. So if you make mistakes, know that we all do. It doesn't matter how long you've been coding. Sometimes you make mistakes. Alright, so the project is created. As usual, we'll just confirm that it's there. So yeah, we have arrays and lists here, and then our cd into it, arrays and lists, and then code dot to open it up in Visual Studio. And there we have it. Now we'll just open a program.cs, and I'll take this out so you always do. If you have a user internal up here, you can remove it. So now, how do we create an array? What we want to do here is I want to create an array of integers. Of course, I'm going to put those integers there manually, but we're going to assume those integers are coming from a database in a bank, and we want to know, what is the total money that are in people's accounts in this bank. So the way to, if you remember, the way to create an integer is to say int account balance equals 0. Now, when this represents the account balance for one person. right? If we want to change this to an array of account balances, basically, or a list of account balance for several people, we're going to make a few changes to the syntax. Instead of just int here, we're going to say int with brackets, and then we're going to change the name to reflect that this is no longer the account balance for one person. We're going to say int account balances equals new int square brackets. And now what we have here is we have an array that can accept account balances. And for an array, we need to tell our program, okay, how many items are going to be in this array? Our program needs to know how many items are going to be in the array. I'm going to start simple and say we have 10 customers in our bank. So I hope you can see the pattern here. So we say int with a square brackets. If we just declare a variable with just int, it's not an array, it's a simple integer variable. But when we add square brackets to it, this double square bracket, it becomes an array. And then we say equals new, this keyword is compulsory, and then we say int, and then we add square brackets. And between the square brackets, we tell our program how many items are going to be in our array, right? So I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to start putting things into my account balances. I'm putting things into my account balances myself, but in a real world situation, these values are going to come from a database. So there's simply going to be code written here to pull those values from the database and put them into our array so we can manipulate them. But for now, just watch me. I'll explain what I'm doing once I'm done. Let's say account balances 0 equals, let's say the first account balance is 100,000. Just going to copy this and just paste in it. Let's see, this person has 20,000. Next, I'm just going to reduce it to 5. I don't think I have enough patience to do. Let's see, the next person has just 5,000 in their account. And then we'll do 3. And so this person actually has 100,000. Let's see, this person has, okay, let's say this person has 900,000. So that is 5 people, right? We told our array that it's that there are 5 people or 5 items can be in this array, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. but really, what is this thing that I'm doing here with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What you can do is think of this. Let's go back to our example, our crate of egg example, right? Our crate of egg has the slots. Let's assume these are slots. This is slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5. This is obviously big. Let's use this one. Okay, we have how many slots here? 6 slots, right? This is slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. So this is person 1's account balance. This is person 2's account balance, person 3, person 4, person 5, person 6. So what we're doing here is saying set this position to 100. But in computer science, we start counting from 0. So regular people count from 1. I think even mathematicians count from 1. But computer scientists start counting from 0. So instead of starting from position 1, we are starting from position 0. I hope that is understandable. And that is why I'm not starting from position 1 here. I'm starting from position 0. Position 0 is a valid place in an array to put something, right? And then I have all of these account balances now, and then I can manipulate them together. I can come down here and say console .write line account balances, and then I'll give it 2. And what I'm saying is, hey, and what I'm doing here is I'm saying, hey, give me the account balance at position 2, right? Or as we like to call it, at index 2. So all these are indexes. So this is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2, this is index 3, index 4. And I'm saying, hey, give me the account balance at index 2. And I'm going to run this quickly so you guys see what I'm saying here. I'll say .NET run. I'm sorry, I have to see it. I'll save. Stop this. And then I'll go .NET run. Okay, so what does it give me? It gives me 5,000, and let us look at 5,000. 5,000 really is in index 2, right? So what we've done here, it might not look like much, but is that we have different values in different places, and all we had to do was declare only one variable. We have different values, or all of them can be referred to from this one variable, and we can keep expanding this. I can make this 1,000, put 1,000 items here. Now let us see what's going to happen if we try to print the item at index 6. Sorry, let's say index 5. I'm going to save this, and once again I'm going to say .NET run. And now I have an exception. It says unhandled exception. Index was out of the bounds of the array. Now remember what I told you about arrays having indexes. An array has a fixed size. When you create an array, it has a fixed size. I have told this array that, hey, you can hold 5 items, and then because we're counting from 0, we have position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3, and position 4, which amounts to 5 items. Now I'm telling my array, hey array, give me the item at index 5, but I don't have an index 5. If I had 6 items in my array, then I would have an index 5, right? But I don't have an index 5, and then my program is complaining, hey, you don't have up to this number of items in your array, and that is why it threw this exception. And that brings us to the fundamental difference between an array and a list. For lists, you can have as many items as you want, and you can just keep adding items. You don't have to first say, oh, this is going to be the size of my list. And just to illustrate, let's take this off and let's create a list. Let's forget about account balances now, and I'm just going to create a quick list. I'm going to create a list of strings this time. List of string equals list of string, and I need to give it a name, right? Fruits equals new lists, new list. I'm fighting my autocomplete. This one got me list of strings, and I have errors here. And all I have to do to resolve these errors really is add a using statement. So I just have to come up here. So currently my program does not know what a list is, and I need to tell it, okay, this is what a list is. So I'll come down here and I'll say using system dot collections dot generic, and you have to get the spelling right, the capitalization, the full stop, and then the error goes away. And now up here we're declaring an array, and we're saying here our array takes 5 items. But down here, this is the way you declare a list. I'm declaring a list of fruits, and then you just say new lists of string. Now this list is going to contain strings, names of fruits. And then the fundamental difference is that here I am saying, hey, this is going to take 5 items, but here I am not telling it how many items it can take. This list can take an unlimited number of objects. I mean, the limit for what this can take really depends on your system, how powerful your system is, and all of that. But you can just keep adding things to it. To illustrate, I'll come here and I'll say, and the way we put things in a list is different from the way we put things in an array. I'm going to come down here and say fruits dot add, and I'm going to add mango. Next, fruits dot add. I'm going to add banana. Fruits dot add. I'm going to add orange, and I can just keep going, right? So that's a fundamental difference between an array and a list. At the end of the day, what they do is they group things, and but the difference really is that lists can hold an unlimited number of items. You don't have to specify how many items are going to be there first. And then for arrays, you have to specify how many items are going to be there, and you can't put more items than you specified from the beginning. Lists are indexable too, so you can get the items in the list by index. So I can say console readline fruits, and I want the fruit at index 0. Sorry, console dot right line. I'm making a lot of mistakes this morning. So I have console dot right line. I want the fruit at index 0, and so I'll just come and say .NET run. Oh, I didn't save it, so I'll have to save, and then .NET run again. And there we have mango. I can come and say, hey, give me the fruit. I can say console right line. Fruits. Let's say give me the fruit at position 2, and the fruit at position 2 is going to be orange, because as I mentioned in computer science we start counting from 0. So this is fruit at index 0, this is fruit at index 1, and this is fruit at index 2, orange. Let's save this and run and see if I am right. Of course, so the fruit at index 2 is orange, and we have our outputs there. Now, there are a number of things we can do. You may be wondering, okay, what can we do with arrays, right? Or what is the point of them? One of them is we can just say, hey, give me the sum of all the numbers in this array, right? And let's just do that very quickly. So let's take this out and use the integer example. This isn't, so I'm just going to say and sum equals account balances dot sum. And to do this, you have to put another using statement up there. You have to say using system.linq. And if you don't understand this, it's fine now. You really don't have to super understand it now. You just need to be able to use it. But as we proceed in the course, I'll explain what these using statements mean and why we need them. But for now, just put it there. And so we're saying, hey, take all our account balances and sum them together. And after summing them, put the value in this new variable that we just created, sum, and we're simply going to write out that sum. Now we're going to see console.writeLine sum. I'll save this, and once again I'll run our program. And we have, this is 1 2 3 1 2 3, so we have 9,135,000. So all the account balances in our accounts currently sum to 9 million. Now, because these are 5 integers, right? These are 5 account balances. We could have created 5 different variables, but really, when we start to talk about a million accounts or 2 million, it's impractical to try to create a variable for all of them. It's even impractical to type it out like that, like this. Then what you will do is to create your array, or in this case, since we might not know how many account balances we're talking about here, we create a list, and then we start to read from a database, and we're just adding things to our lists. And then after we've added all of that, we can then just say, hey, take our list and give us the sum of everything in that list, and that's it. It's magic. It's just like that. So these are some of the powerful things that we can do with arrays and lists. And this example is in no way exhaustive. We haven't done things like dictionaries and loops, and by the time we come to loops, then we'll be able to see some of the powers of arrays. I'm keeping this short and very brief, so I don't overwhelm you guys, for people that are completely new to programming. By the time we come to the video on loops, for loops, while loops, we're going to see some of the powers of arrays, and we're going to be using arrays there a lot. So it's important that you understand this. If there's anything you don't understand here, I recommend that you go back and watch the video and kind of try to understand the egg example, and basically just follow the analogies. Thanks for watching. As usual, stay safe, guys.